Round 1. Fight.
Heroes never die.
I'm Commander Shepard, and this is my favorite store on the Citadel.
I used to be an adventurer like you. Then I took an arrow in the knee.
Power, sex, power. They both come down to one thing.
Hungry Gamers.
Hello, and welcome, boys and girls, to the 138th episode of the Hungry Gamers podcast. We are powered by 8bit.net and Audio Technica. I am your not so humble host, Brendan White. You can find me just about everywhere at Brendan8bit. And on today's docket, we're going to be talking an absolute bucket load of Apex Legends and Division Beta 2. But before we can do that, I need to introduce my two extremely fantastic co-hosts, the Wraith and Mirage to my Gibraltar. Miss Ali Hard, who can be found at Miss Ali Hard, and Salim Abraham, who can be found at Salim TD. How you doing today, you couple of legends?
That's uncanny. Did you just guess what our characters were?
I did take a stab in the dark. I had to sort of feel and dive into your psyches and work out what I think playstyles would be, and I just went with the gut.
So who's who?
So you be playing as Wraith,
Mm-hmm.
and I reckon Dream. I don't know if he's dropped the money or used the credits to unlock Mirage, but I feel he could be a Mirage character.
We both know I haven't dropped the money to play Mirage. But I do appreciate the comparison. I think he's probably the best of all characters in Apex Legends.
He's pretty cheeky. He's cheeky like you. He's got that sort of look and sort of smart-assness about him and sort of not so quiet confidence that the Dream possesses.
That's interesting, because I looked at him and I thought, this just looks like a stand-up guy. He looks like just a really funny person, great provider, absolutely honest, honest to a fault almost.
I can see that. And I can understand where you're drawing those parallels as well between Mirage and the life of Dream.
Just absolutely handsome, great sense of humor. And a philanthropist, helps the kids.
And a bit of a trickster.
Wait, hang on. Are you suggesting that I'm a psychopath with a bitch voice?
Is that what?
I think she's just clear, cold, concise.
Gotcha.
You know what she's there for. She ain't here to sugarcoat nothing. She's here to kick some ass and make some voids and kick some more ass.
Ali, who do you reckon Brendan is if we're going to be all Apex Legends characters? Do you think Gibraltar, like setting up a shield, protecting his friends, You often play the Titan-like characters, don't you, Brendan? You like being the bulky sort of barbarian.
I do. It seems to, I don't know if it ties more so into the simplicity of how my mind and thought process works, that I'm just be big, be a blunt object and, absorb damage, or I don't know, maybe I just envision myself as a lot bigger and more tougher than I am. I don't know. It could go either way.
Wait, was he right?
I don't know. I'm almost thinking Pathfinder, not because you do this, but it would be funny. I don't know. I feel like Pathfinder's the kind of guy that he shoots his rope and gets out of there at the first sign of trouble.
I have been known to strategically exit high intense situations, but I can understand that. I'm still yet to play as him, but we'll talk more about it a bit later. Okay. But so we're back. Episode 138 of the old THG. Apologies for episode 137. As you may or may not have heard, my audio was pretty shithouse, but we've done extensive testing, gone back to the lab, and I think everything should be as clear as day and providing that same A+ high quality standard that you know and love here at the Hungry HQ. But Maybe did we want to talk about what we've been playing? Maybe we talk some Division first and then maybe dive in with Apex, because excitingly, we've all actually played Apex Legends this week.
It's a first. Well, no, actually we did discuss that we actually all had played Red Dead. And Paradigm. I think we all played Paradigm as well.
We did. That was another hot title on
Paragon,
our lips for a while.
Sorry.
Paragon.
But we did play Paradigm. That was the Aussie-based point-and-click game.
Oh, yeah.
I think you played a lot deeper than I did. I haven't finished it yet. I probably need to.
But you didn't get to play Division, Sam?
No, I didn't play Division. Yeah, I was too busy poning noobs in Apex.
Shame. I could not wait. Like, I was super excited. Like, I love Division 1, so getting on the beta for Division 2. And Australia was actually blessed with the best start time of a beta, which was 8 p.m. prime time. And some people experienced connection issues. You did, Brendan?
I am raising my hand. I did experience multiple connection issues on my first evening of playthrough. I think I got DC'd 3 times. Rage dropped once as well. And it was like midway through boss encounters or sort of side missions. So it was a real pain in the ass, but
That's so crazy.
It's to be expected. It's a beta. So Ubisoft, I'll give you a pass.
No, it was I was actually genuinely surprised because I had a flawless experience on the first playthrough, and then everyone was talking about the disconnection issues, but I think they fixed that now. That should be all sorted. Should be.
Yeah. So can I ask? Like, I stopped playing. I got to about level 8, I think. So all up, I probably put maybe 4 hours in. Something like that, give or take. Could be a little bit more, could be a little bit less. But
I mean, it sounds about right because I think I've probably put in between 4 to 5 hours in, and I'm sitting on 6 or 7. I can't remember where I last left off. But there is definitely there's like it. It's really hard to figure out exactly where the leveling up comes from. Like, I know it's obviously experience in shooting and everything, so a lot of wandering, as I usually do. I probably should have actually stuck to missions and everything. But, yeah, so I'm sitting on 6 or 7, level 6 or 7. But I've hit end game, so...
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I enjoyed it. Like, obviously, I guess loose spoilers, the opening scenes, at least for the demo, will probably mirror something similar to the opening scenes of the game, where obviously they've shifted from New York to Washington, talking about now how this terrorist faction has put some kind of plague on the currency, on all the notes, so exchanging of monies has led to these viruses and people dying and people getting sick. And your division agent coming in to try and save the day. I like that straight off the bat, you pretty much, your home base is is in Washington at the White House. I thought that was a bit gangster.
Yeah.
But it's more Division. It felt like it was Division 1, but in a much prettier aesthetic. Instead of just snow-capped New York, big tall skyscrapers, I like that it was more grasslandy areas, and sunshine and rainbows, and I like that.
I'm gonna have to disagree with you.
No,
I'm gonna have to disagree with you. I really miss that whimsical kind of environment of being in New York in the snow, especially at nighttime with all the pretty lights and everything around. I really enjoyed that environment. And so now, like, I guess playing it, especially in Australia in the summer, I'm playing the game and I feel like sticky. Like, I'm like uncomfortable because I'm like, oh, it looks so, there's junk everywhere. There's like swamps everywhere. I'm like, this is not a nice environment to be amongst.
Can I ask an outsider question for a moment? Just out of curiosity, were there any game breaking sort of bugs that resulted in people forming very neat queues to get to loot boxes and quest givers? Did that happen this time around, or did they manage to avoid that entirely?
I have not joined an orderly queue to get into any form of Division 2 based content yet. I've sort of trolled the internets on the first day just for my own sort of entertainment, to see if there was any parroting of what happened in D1 sort of floating around, but I didn't see anything, and I had no queue issues. I know a few people from our sort of gaming based AU circle had some queue issues on that first night and the second night potentially, where they had to, they were 100th in the queue waiting to get into the server. I didn't. Wow. I was in instantly.
Yeah, no, I had no issue.
But so server load felt fine. I didn't notice any rubber banding as well.
No.
Playing with Rachel when we got randomly sort of grouped up with some other Johnny Rando division agents. There was no rubber banding when we were doing the first sort of main boss mission where you're taking down Saint, where you sort of obviously got to traverse this massive hotel, get up to the roof of this hotel,
Great
and
mission.
and take them down. But it felt good. The gunplay's still tight. Enemies are still very spongy.
That menu navigation, though, holy crap.
Yeah, that's kind of gross. The fact there's no sort of button, or at least I couldn't find which button it was to directly jump into your inventory straight away. You got to sort of pause, then jump into a sub menu there, then click through, and then get into your weapons or your various bits of armor. That's a
Keyboard
little
and
bit
mouse,
clunky.
it was just straight up I. But I felt like when you're using keyboard and mouse, navigating between things, it's like you click on this, but then you have to press F for that, and then if you want to actually confirm you want to look into this, you actually have to confirm with spacebar, and then like I was like, I can't navigate this. This is absolutely bonkers. And even the interface can sometimes be a bit much. There's just so much information in there that really doesn't outline what you want or where you want to be heading. So I don't know why. I don't remember the first one being that complex or difficult.
I noticed some of like the follow the breadcrumb, like the little orange beacons that you're meant to follow to get to your missions or your points of interest. I remember in the first one it was sort of sometimes it'd send you down the wrong path, or you'd sort of have to route through and go through a building unnecessarily when you could have just turned left and gone straight down the street.
Yeah.
I've noticed that happening a bit in Div 2 again. It's nothing too detrimental. Like, you don't sit there and go, oh, this game's fucked, I'm going to take it back sort of type of anger.
Yeah.
But, still little things like that was like a bit head-scratching.
Yeah, no. But, gameplay-wise, in the most nicest way possible, it felt like old Division, but just new content. And that to me is good. I'm very comfortable with it. Same kind of play style. Your classic, like, very bullet spongy enemies, but not offensively so. I just want to ask the guys to stop putting fucking dogs in games, especially dogs that people can shoot, because if I have to stop playing with people because they keep on shooting dogs, I swear to God.
There was I don't know if you saw it in that first, like, one of the main missions where you're taking down Saint and you're traversing the multiple levels in that building. There was one part and you sort of look through this open door, but it was then covered off with a steel barricade, and there's a dog sitting in there really sad, and I'm like, oh, what's wrong with the dog? And then I sort of look further across, and his mate was dead. Like, his dog friend was dead as well. So they definitely play on the animal heartstrings, that's for sure.
The hotel, you walk through, there's that massive area, and it's an open space. It looks like a theater or something like that. They've clearly had dog fights in there, and there's dead dogs everywhere and dead dogs in cages and stuff. I'm like, guys, unless you're actually gonna make me kill, like, these people specifically, like, say that's the guy that's responsible for all this.
I reckon
dog
there could
death,
be a Michael Vick character
I will be
end
glad
boss in there
to
somewhere.
kill them, but it's just like, guys, it's just so unnecessary. And there's the experiment room, and there's a bunch of them that have clearly been experimented on, and I'm like, not necessary, please. It makes me really fucking sad.
On a lighter note, though, did you encounter any of the raccoons running around the town?
No, I have not. I've seen rats and I've seen deer. I've not seen raccoons.
Yeah, come across this raccoon and it sort of ran past me and then jumped up on the top of this bin, looked at me and then jumped into the bin. I'm like, oh, I wonder what it's doing in there. And then obviously popped my head in the bin and it, I don't know, disappeared into the ether because it was just a random sort of little sequence that they programmed. But I thought that was pretty cute. But I like it's more Division. It looks cleaner. The environments, as I said earlier, I like the world that we're in. This sort of sunny Washington-based environment instead of that bleak, snow-ridden New York. I know we're on differing opinions here, but I like that it is a contrast in sort of playstyle from 1 to 2. One thing that frustrated me with the beta is so many of the abilities are locked behind obviously full release only. Like when you pick, you can have your turret, you can have your little heat-seeking grenade, and then you can have, I think, the drone. They're the only 3 that are available on the beta. So I didn't like, for one, that you could only have those 3, but then you could also only level up one of the subclasses on those 3 abilities as well. The other 2 are locked behind the full release. So that was like, come on, just let me experience some of these other perks so I can sort of work out a playstyle prior to
leave
release.
some mystery. Like, at least with the perks, they gave you mostly everything to select from, and you were able to upgrade it pretty high. So, I didn't bother me. I didn't mind that it locked it. I got my turret. I'm happy. And the sticking grenade as well is actually pretty good too. That's been pretty useful in some of the missions that I've been dealing with.
So I ask you, like, obviously you've pre-ordered, so it is for all intents and purposes a day one purchase for you. But if you hadn't and you just played this beta on its own without the pre-order already being attached, would you still look at purchasing this day one?
100%, yeah. I look forward to this, especially playing with members of 8-Bit, and then also going into the Dark Zone as well, and just really getting into it. It's good. It's like it's what I remember, and I'm comfortable with it, and it's just enjoyable. It's apart from the freaking menu, which is the only thing that's really gotten to me, and the dogs. Everything else has been quite enjoyable. I love the gunplay, like the like just the feel of like shooting and using all your weapons and grenades and all that sort of stuff. It's felt great. It's felt clean. It's felt smooth. So yeah, I'm enjoying it, and I would have probably bought it anyway. This is probably the first pre-order I've done in a very long time. I don't normally pre-order.
Wow.
So there you go. That's some big praise. What about you, Dream? Are you going to jump on Div 2 when it drops in March?
Probably not. Not for any particular reason. The Division as a game and as a world doesn't really appeal to me, and that's probably about, as far as the rationale goes for me not purchasing it. I like hearing you guys talk about it though, but like we always come back to these sorts of games from time to time, particularly games like Destiny and WoW and Final Fantasy 14 and soon to be also Anthem. They're just such big investments, and I'm doing my best to take a step back from games like that, just because I don't know. I never find my true happiness, my true inner peace playing games like this. It always just it feels like you're doing a 1,000-piece puzzle, and for whatever reason, there's always a piece missing. That's how these games feel for me at the moment. So probably won't be jumping into Division 2.
I really like that analogy, truth be told, and I understand exactly where you're coming from. Like, it is an investment and a big commitment for these types of open world or shared world RPGs, and then obviously after you finish those mainline story quests after 10, 20 hours, depending on how deep they go, then you've got all the end game content and the raid content and everything else, which could then hypothetically see us occupied up until Christmas and beyond. So you really need to sort of pick and choose where you're going to plant that flag.
You know what?
I'm hard.
I've got to be honest. I don't actually see me playing this game for that kind of longevity. I see maybe a few months in it, but I definitely don't see me like on the same level as Destiny of sticking to it that much. Yeah. I might hop on every now and then, but I don't think I'll be playing the Division to that extreme.
And that's that's totally fine. I don't think that's what they want for you though. what Ubisoft want. They obviously want you to be playing this forever.
Oh, of course.
That's their intention. Yeah.
Yeah, it will really depend on how they actually execute. Like the Dark Zone PvP element, that's only as entertaining as, I don't know. I personally didn't enjoy it too much. It was enjoyable, but I never really felt compelled to keep on returning to it. And then in-game, just like story content, like I guess they could just drop a story pack every now and then, but
do either of you know what the Division 1's like max number of players was, concurrent players?
Not on the top of my mind.
Not off the top of my head.
But the Division 1, unfortunately, when they first released it, there were a lot of issues and a lot of things that players weren't happy about, specifically how long it took to actually kill someone. And they fixed it. They, like, credit to them, they fixed it and they went back, and then the Division 1 did become better, and it was quite an enjoyable game. And then funnily enough, I think they also did just like randomly, like maybe a year later, they did a patch or a fix up. And then I saw a lot of people actually returning to the Division like a year or so after release. I think they might have done something to the Dark Zone. I think that's what I recall. But yeah, it actually drew people back in again. So
Okay.
I've just climbed out of the Matrix, and just regarding Steam charts for concurrents, their all-time peak was 113,877.
Fuck,
That was March 2016, which I think was the month it came out. I think that was its debut month. But since then, it averages around 9,000 people at any one time. That's just Steam, so that's not attached to Xbox or PlayStation 4, which I know they've done a fair amount of sales through as well. But
did the Division 1 actually come out on Steam, or was that later?
Well, it's been out since March 2016. I can't remember that was the release date, wasn't it?
I'm not 100% certain, because all I remember is that I actually played the Division on PlayStation.
Yeah, you and I rolled. Yeah, it was March 2016 it released. Yeah, because you and I finished the campaign together on the PlayStation, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Lovely, lovely snowy New York.
Yeah, that's why I'm excited for a new world.
Hey, have you witnessed the storm rolling in?
I have not, no.
It is crazy. I was just standing in the street somewhere, and then I heard the rumble and everything. I'm like, okay, standard weather kind of mechanics. But then I looked up, and the dark clouds just started coming over, and I'm like, I wonder if that's... And then, yeah, it got dark. The storm, like, noises got really intense, and lightning, and they got dark, and then it started pelting down with rain. And you know me, I absolutely judge a game based on how well they replicate the sounds of storms and rain and stuff. And it was quite amazing. I was actually genuinely... like surprised at how the weather mechanic literally just rolled the clouds in, and then it just gradually turned into a storm. I don't know why I was surprised, but I just feel like in these kind of games they don't really invest too much in that.
I feel like every developer of games that you play should listen to you talk, because you notice things in games that I don't think really anyone notices or appreciates. Like, the reasons you play games and the reasons other people play that game are very different. And the people behind said weather mechanics would probably appreciate hearing how much you appreciate Rolling Thunder coming through. Like, that would have been one dude's job for weeks. And I'm sure that person would just be absolutely grateful to hear that someone out there took a moment from popping shots, looked up and saw clouds and was just in awe.
I literally stood there and just like waited and just wanted to see what happened. Just stood in the rain in the streets.
I would love to
cumulonimbus.
What?
It's a type of cloud.
I would love to just play games with your perspective, Ali. I think that would be like almost like a mind-altering drug experience. Playing
titties, dogs, and weather.
Yeah.
Put it on my biography, guys.
Should we jump into Apex Legends?
Yes. I think we should. So we have all been playing this hit from Respawn via way of EA. What do you guys reckon? Give me your initial hot takes, and then maybe we can dive a little bit deeper into some of the play styles and the game overall. Maybe Dream, did you want to lead us off? What's your thoughts on Apex Legends so far?
Pleasantly surprised, considering that we had a chat about this last week, and it seemed like it was a weird diversion from the Titanfall universe. It was a battle royale game. It is a battle royale game. I'm surprised at how much I'm enjoying it. I am enjoying it. I think it's a lot of fun. I have a lot of really positive things to say about it, and there are other things that I'm just sort of more interested in, which I guess I'll expand on more in a moment.
Nice. What platform are you playing on?
I'm playing on the PS4.
Okay.
I did try to do it on PC, but I had a couple of problems downloading it, memory issues that I just couldn't figure out. Like, I tried downloading it onto my portable hard drive, and halfway through it kept telling me I was out of memory. I got like 700 gigs on that bad boy ready to go, so I'm not sure what the hell's going on. But anyway, yeah, settled for PlayStation. Happy with PlayStation anyway.
Okay, yeah, so you and I are both on the PC, Miss Hart. What's your initial thoughts on Apex Legends?
I honestly, because I know I was the one that's talking big game, saying, what a Titanfall game without the Titans in it. Go jump.
We all said that. I think
Yeah.
we all wanted Titans. Yeah.
But the fact that this game got announced and released like same day and it's just a fucking hit just goes to show that you do not need that marketing BS lead up for a successful game. All you need is a good game. In regards to me actually playing this game, I love it. It's really, really enjoyable. However, the only thing about it that I'm getting used to, I don't hate it or, whatever, but I'm getting used to is I have to learn different character classes, which I haven't really been, subjected to in a battle royale game. So I kind of take that element from my, Overwatch experience where it's like you have to play and experience these different characters to understand how to counter them in the future. So that little element is gonna, I guess, make it fresh for me, make it not your standard battle royale in my case. So, but I really, really enjoyed it. It's actually pretty fresh for our our massive battle royale.
It's interesting that you draw a comparison to Overwatch because I have absolutely drawn a comparison to Overwatch as well. I think these characters, just the design of these characters, the look of these characters, how they sound, they are so much more suited to the Overwatch universe than they are what I would have thought the Titanfall universe looked like after Titanfall 1 and 2, right? Like even Pathfinder and Bastion side by side. Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
Like just it's pretty clear. And I think that power to Respawn, like did they just look at Overwatch and then the Battle Royale field and just say, look, let's just fucking mix these together. And let's just see what happens. Let's try and create an Overwatch Battle Royale before Activision Blizzard get to it. It's definitely what it feels like to me when I play it.
Apparently the game's been in development for about 3 years or so, and
what
I see the Overwatch comparisons, but I also see a bit of Rainbow Six Siege, especially with the character models. Like the character models look very similar to certain heroes from Siege, but it's such a good game, especially at launch. The amount of polish that this game has straight from the jump is a testament to everyone involved. Like graphically, it's just about the best battle royale game out there from an aesthetics point of view. Like the character models are great, the environments are great. The load-ins are fine, like sort of dropping out of the ship with your squads. I don't notice any massive sort of screen tear or droppings of frames anywhere I'm playing this game. It's really, really well done. And obviously they put a lot of time into testing and perfecting these processes. But yeah, we've been talking about Battle Royale fatigue and sick of that genre. And we were pretty skeptical if this game would have any success. But here we are. It's the game everyone's talking about now. Yeah. And rightfully so, I think.
Yeah, well, it's taken on by storm, and you're actually seeing a lot of those popular streamers that are usually backed by certain specific games. Like I think the game actually took over Fortnite.
Yeah, so I was looking at sort of the rankings on Twitch last night, and it was number 1. Fortnite was number 4, and there was like Dota 2 and LoL
League,
sprinkled in there at 2 and 3. And obviously, sort of circling back to what you were saying about the need or lack thereof for marketing, it's a smart way to do it. You throw some money behind some of these big time streamers to get them to guarantee to play this game, and you're getting guaranteed captive eyes on the product from kids and fans and everyone else that will probably be downloading these to pick it up as well. It's a smart way to do business.
Yeah, well, it also runs by that whole format of like being a free game. And that's the other thing. It's a free game. And yet obviously there's a currency system in there. There's a shop, there's loot boxes. So there's the money side. Yeah.
And there's battle passes getting planned as well for the game, similar to Fortnite. And that's fine, I think.
Yeah, but as a revenue model, that's actually always going to be better than just paying $50 up front for this game. Like there'll be people pumping more than $50 into this game for the lifetime of their, stint playing it.
I probably know I will. I'll see some new sexy skin and be like, yeah, I gotta buy that. I need that skin.
I think
Skins are pretty decent.
Are they? I don't know. It's weird. They're skins for guns, and I was just like, I'm never gonna notice if that skin is on your gun or not. I'm just gonna notice getting shot at. That's all I'm gonna see.
My 2020 handgun with the neon zebra print along it, I notice that every time. I even shove it in my teammate's face and saying, "Look at my gun." I go back
to my last comment about playing games through your
the
eyes.
Shit I pay attention to.
Yeah, I think this game does. There are I think firm staples for what battle royale games need in order to be successful. I think one of them is that you need to be able to bounce from game to game pretty quickly, which this game does. I think it has to be a pretty clean lobby, which this has, and the what was I going to say? Just the actual connectivity, like just being able to reliably get into games and just having the servers available to actually handle huge amounts of players. That's also absolutely necessary, and this game has that. But the gimmicks of this game, namely like character skills and the fact that it is only teams of 3, there's no solo option, at least for the moment. I think that's kind of cool and that's fresh, and they've done that really well as well. Like being able to, like the idea that you drop out of a ship as a team makes this so much easier than if you had just everyone saying, all right, drop on 3, 2, 1, go. And then you've got one guy back there, one guy ahead of you, and you're just going for the middle. I like that, but you can also peel away. That's smart. The other thing as well this game does, which as far as I know, no other BR game does, is you've got your signal button. Like
where you can ping.
Which I have not been in a game yet where nobody uses it. Everyone uses that button. I think everyone uses it in a way that's actually informative and lets you make really good decisions. I think it's pretty intuitive the way that people ping things, whether it's pinging equipment, pinging where enemies are, pinging where to go. Like it's actually for me been a really positive experience playing in pugs. Purely because I think you can signal so easily and you just don't have to hear anyone's voice. I don't know why that's bad, but I hate hearing people's voices when I play these games.
No, 100%, man. I'm with you on that. Like, and it lessens the griefing that people often get on chat, you know, or a lot of people, especially like females, they're pretty hesitant to speak up on a microphone. So they can jump into a game like this, stay off comms and just be, pinging, there's a gun, ping, there's an enemy there, we should go there next. Like, I really like that aspect of it where it can sort of push that toxicity aside, because you do get, and you'd know, Ali, as well, like you do get fucking wankers. The second a woman talks playing a video game, it's a whole shitstorm on the comm. So I think it's a safe space for everybody, women, men, children, everyone else in between, to jump on, and they can stay off the microphone and just ping their way to success, because it is very intuitive. It's helpful. Like we've been rolling with the rando here or there or two of them, and I don't feel handicapped by playing with people off microphone.
Yeah. Who have you guys been playing? Which characters?
Ali, I'll let you go first. Maybe we can sort of go around the table.
So mainly Wraith, obviously, because I may have seen a little bit of myself in the character. But when I want to mix it up, I'm actually playing Bangalore.
Yeah.
Bangalore.
The female Soldier 76.
Pretty much. Only because I don't trust myself as being useful as a lifeline or reliable. And then the other characters have this kind of like play element that hasn't really appealed to me yet. So Wraith and Bangalore.
I have been sort of jumping between Wraith, Bangalore, and Gibraltar. So obviously, as you touched on, Wraith with sort of her void walking abilities, Bangalore as the true soldier, traditional FPS commando style, and then Gibraltar, who's a bit more tanky. I like the utility that all three of them have, where they've almost got inbuilt or escape-based mechanics to them. Like Bangalore, when you're getting shot, your movement speed increases, so you can get away quickly. Wraith, you can sort of void walk, so you become invisible and no longer taking damage. And then Gibraltar's got the not only aiming down sights, you've got a mini shield that automatically pops up, but you've also got for your other common ability, you can pop down a massive shield to sort of heal or revive or re sort of structure what you want to do with the battle. So they've been my three. I haven't touched Bloodhound, haven't touched Lifeline. Pathfinder, I don't really understand that character, and I bought Mirage, but I haven't touched him yet. What about you, Dream? Who are you playing?
I've checked out everyone. The one that I played the most is Bangalore. And that's mainly because of the smoke screen. So the thing I find most useful about that character is, aside from the passive's great. Like, as soon as a shot goes near you book it, which is fantastic. But the smoke screen, I found a lot of utility out of the smoke screen, particularly in tight spaces. My favorite thing to do is pop the smoke screen up and then actually just dash right through it to try and find where that person is and just get them at close range.
Yeah.
But I just think that is possibly the best skill in the game as far as I've witnessed. I've played Gibraltar as well a little bit. I'm still having I guess a bit of a difficult time using or getting the most out of that shield, and certainly the sort of defensive bombardment skill as well. I do have a problem with the defensive bombardment and Bangalore's Rolling Thunder. I don't know that they're actually as useful as they could be. I think, like, particularly with Bangalore's like ulti, I think the problem is that the distance isn't far enough. Like, it would be really good if you could get more distance on that, and also the time it takes to actually activate it, pop out that little special beacon, throw it, and then see the missiles come down. Like, it's a matter of like 5 seconds, and that's enough to get killed. And it never occurs to me to be something to use when I'm getting shot at. I did play Pathfinder as well. Sorry, Ali.
Oh, I was just going to say, I always felt like that specific mood was never meant to be like an emergency move. I always felt like that one's like more of a premeditated move.
You're right, but and that's where like the distance comes into it for me. If you could get further with it, then it absolutely is a great little sneak attack. But I never seem to kind of get far enough across the valley for it to hit the person on the other side. It always seems to land somewhere in the middle. So I don't know, it'd be interesting if they could tighten that up or change it. But I did play Pathfinder as well, and I do like Pathfinder. I think obviously a lot more utility for this character. His ulti, the zipline, that's the golden thing about this guy. He can actually go very far across the map by setting up that zipline. Like, couldn't put it into meters, but like an obscene amount of distance. You could actually just set up a permanent zip line and you and your team could travel very far. Doesn't help you out in combat, obviously, and I think even his like little grappling hook doesn't really lend much to combat, but it's still fun, I guess, to use and to traverse across the map. You can kind of hook yourself up to something and then jump higher than where you've hooked as well, so maybe there's like utility there for like a sneak attack over a wall or something. I'd be keen to test that out a little bit more. I didn't play Wraith. I didn't play Lifeline like all that much. And I didn't play Bloodhound. I don't really get those characters. I get Wraith, but I don't get Bloodhound or Lifeline. Lifeline reminds me of a TLC character, by the way. A TLC person, sorry.
100%. Blood.
Lisa Left Eye Lifeline.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, she's dead, isn't she?
Yeah, she is.
There's nothing wrong with that. It's fine.
Well, when you call her a lifeline, though.
Yeah. She lives on as a ATEPEX character. A legend.
So with Bloodhound, he looks the coolest. Like, the character-wise, I reckon he looks the coolest. Actually, that's one thing we haven't talked about is the announcement of who the champion of the round is. The current champion of the round. Those banners everywhere is so badass. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That is cool.
And I don't know how many times when I go past a banner, it will be a Bloodhound. And I even had someone on my team, a random once, who almost took us to a win, who was a Bloodhound. So there's obviously a way to play it. I'm too scared because it looks like it's It's just a different play style. So I'll have to look into it a bit more.
It's
a
all
lot
about
of tracking and skulking around.
It's all about tracking. Yeah, it's literally all about tracking, which I can see how that would work, particularly if you're like playing a sort of more camping kind of game where you're just sitting and waiting. You see someone go by, and then you activate, that like, what did you call it, Brendan? A common ability. I like that. I'm going to say that common ability. And you can just see where they are and where they've gone. Like, obviously that lends itself to this kind of game. But someone like Lifeline, you really need to be in a well formed team for that to be of any value. Otherwise, you're just kind of helping pugs, and everyone's just kind of in it for themselves.
Yeah, I wish with Lifeline they almost took a leaf out of Overwatch and had that healing ability she triggers to be an AoE like Lucio, so she could just be running beside and it can be hitting everybody instead of, because that little robot she's got is so, like, the distance it travels is so small. It's such a pain in the ass.
Quite slow
to
as
get
well.
healed by.
It's quite slow as well. I think it's not something you could really do on the go. It's almost like you got to be stopping and camping for a moment.
Yeah. Like, she's got value. Like, I like her passive when reviving people, a little sort of half circle shield pops around them so she can absorb a bit of damage if she needs to be revived in the fight. And her ulti, where it's dropping the care package, you do usually get some pretty high end armor and defensive equipment out of that. So there's some value there, but I'm digging it. Like, sadly, still no victories on my side that I can report. Have you guys got any W's yet?
No, like gotten I think 2 2s, but not a W yet.
Yeah,
Still early days though.
I got a second and a third, which were both heartbreaking. But
Yeah, same.
Yeah,
It's good to see. Like, it sounds like they're onto something pretty special here. Like, obviously, we'll see how this is doing in say 3 months' time, if the player base and the hysteria is still there. But from all reports and something we'll talk about in the news in a sec, it's doing really, really, really well.
Yeah.
It's a nice surprise. It's a nice surprise that we got dropped a game on a Monday. It got given to us, and it's an amazing game. It spoke for itself.
Yeah, and I got to say, like, the environment, that Kings Canyon that they've put together, that little mini island that you battle on, is gorgeous. And have you noticed the big giant creatures in the water? The 2 giant, like, AT-AT looking things from Star Wars just in the water beside the island. I'm really intrigued by this world, and when they flesh it out a bit more, there's that big giant sort of carnivore skeleton on one part of the island that you're sort of running around in, and it's so pretty.
Yeah, apparently there should be a lot of connections to the Titanfall universe. So I'm sure that, like, there'll be someone out there that'll be, making some pretty cool videos linking them up. Hopefully. Please someone do it.
Yeah, so Apex Legends kicking them goals. Should we move on to a quick bit of housekeeping before we jump into some news?
Let's do it.
Okay, so this week, obviously this episode is going to be dropping on the 11th of February, but 3 days after that, February 14th, Valentine's Day, aka 8-Bit Day, hashtag AT3BIT. Keep your eyes and ears locked to our socials at We Are 8-Bit, and also on 8bit.net, because we've got some very, very, very exciting big announcements and outlining the roadmap for 8-Bit moving forward as we shift into Phase 3. So, be sure to keep your eyes and ears peeled for that. We are pretty freaking excited on that front. But let's get into some news.
This week's news headlines.
We've got a few quick headlines that we'll rattle off first. Assassin's Creed Odyssey, one of my favorite games of the past 12 months, is getting a New Game Plus mode. I don't have the exact date when that's dropping, but it is imminent if it hasn't already. The next one, Take-Two. They have come out ahead of their third quarter revenue targets, solely probably on the back of the success of Red Dead Redemption 2, which has now confirmed 23 million copies sold. But that Q3 revenue target, they hit $1.24 billion. That's US, by the way. That is a lot of cash.
A lot of overtime. Sorry.
Yeah,
it took me a second to understand what you just said there. And I'm like, yeah, it's topical yet true.
It's it's something like $100 million above what they were expecting, which is, oh boy, it's a lot of money.
which is a lot of cash, and it's in stark contrast to the next quick headline where Activision Blizzard are reportedly planning massive layoffs in the hundreds. Said layouts are aimed at centralizing functions and boosting profits. And this is also on the back of the past week where they've confirmed their share price has dropped another 2.5%.
Yeah, this is a rumor at the moment. This hasn't happened. But man, is there nothing like less sexy than centralizing functions and boosting profit? Like, is that are they the terms that you want to see your reported about your business? It just sounds like you have no fucking clue what you're doing at the moment, and you're scrambling, and you're just in damage control. Anytime I see,
it's like scrambling.
Anytime I see those words, being said about any business, not just in the gaming industry, but just anywhere, it just sounds like you've got a lot of fat. You have no idea what to do with it, and you got to cut it because you're just bleeding money. Oh.
And it's interesting too, because on the other hand, they obviously paid a couple of their sort of executive members some pretty hefty bonuses.
They did.
I don't have the gentleman's name in front of me right now, but from what I saw the other day, he got paid like a $15 million bonus this past year. So it's definitely sending some pretty fucked up, mixed and wrong messages to existing staff, and even just the game industry as a whole, is how they're doing business at the moment.
But it just continues the narrative that's been going on for the last 12 months anyway about what's going on with this company. Overwatch and Hearthstone and Heroes of the Storm have all been underperforming. The audiences for those games as esports is just down. The revenue model that they've got in place at the moment, the constant shiny new toys that are appearing on the BattleNet store are just pissing people off. It's clear that these guys are just all about the cash now, and it's so heartbreaking. As someone who played StarCraft and Diablo as a kid, this just absolutely breaks my heart. Yeah, Activision
Blizzard was looking very wholesome, family friendly, kind of like the place to be kind of thing. So I don't know.
It is. It totally is, right? It's like McDonald's now. Something for everyone. It's great. Just come in and get it. Don't question what's in it. It's fine. It's fucking
Don't
bullshit,
question
man.
what's in it.
It's just
Don't
bullshit.
forget to ask us about our steamed buns.
I want to make
Ooh,
it.
yeah.
I want to make it abundantly clear. I'm playing no Blizzard games at the moment. None. And haven't for a while. I'm like strongly morally opposed to what's going on within this company at the moment.
Yeah,
Although ironically, by not playing it, you're actually
I'm part of the solution.
leading to the firings.
I'm it's like caged eggs. I'm voting with my money. I'm steering clear until they change the way they operate, and then I'll happily come back. I'm just waiting for them to make the first move.
Gotcha.
Fair. Okay, so sort of tying up the loose ends regarding the Apex Legends discussion, I won't really dive onto the article. I'll sort of just pick it apart here, but in that first 24 hours of that game being released, they had 1 million players hit the game or trial the game or sign up for the game within the first few hours, but now, several days on, as it stood 3 days on, they've climbed to a whopping 10 million players. And that was figures based off sort of Friday. I haven't seen anything pop out over the weekend, but 10 million players have jumped in and played Apex Legends, and that figure took the juggernaut known as Fortnite 2 weeks to achieve, and they've done this within 3 days. So, yeah, I think EA and Respawn are onto something potentially pretty special here.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I'm not going to say anything bad against Fortnite, but I'm wondering if like Fortnite was having like also
Epic will send trained assassins to you.
Check out our rain clouds, bitch. So
you want dogs? Here's 7,000 fucking dogs.
Puppy mode. But I'm wondering if Fortnite, because like I know amongst the community, a lot of Fortnite players were actually getting a bit bored, a bit stagnant, a bit unhappy. So this is also probably a really good time for them to drop a battle royale, especially with Fortnite being in some kind of, I guess, slight community stalemate. So I'm just glad. I'm just glad it's doing well. I hope it keeps doing well. I hope they don't drop the ball. Like a previous battle royale that we saw where they came in with much hype and high regard and then completely screwed themselves over.
Is that the Smite one? Is that
or Realm Royale? Yeah, Realm Royale.
That's it. Yeah.
No,
that had legs.
PUBG I was referring to. They had the majority players. They were doing well. They were on this freaking high cloud, and then after a while, they just kind of
they've almost sort of resorted back to underdog status now, haven't they? After being the darling of Battle Royale, they've sort of slipped down, tying back into those Twitch views. I think they were about 7th or 8th for as far as Twitch views across the entire platform last night when I was doing a little bit of research. But yeah, Apex Legends. One thing that I didn't even think about until just now when you sort of talked Fortnite and Apex together, there's no emotes. There's no emotes in this game.
Yeah.
Which I don't think's a bad thing at all.
No, I guess not. I do like that you can say thank you. There's like a button if someone like points something out and you grab it and you can press H for saying thanks. So I'm like, yeah, that's nice.
I guess the other
one thing. Oh, sorry, you go, Dream.
Well, I was just going to say the other thing we didn't quite mention are the little sound bites that get played as almost like reminders or comments on what's happening around you in the game. Like whenever the ring forms, someone in your team will tell you where you are relative to that ring. They'll talk about first blood. Like that really helps the team aspect of it because you don't really like. There's no need to actually talk to each other in this game. The characters do it all for you. All the pings do it. It's really well done. I think
the most antisocial battle royale game to date.
But it's great.
Which is good.
It's a perfect formula.
But it is.
It is.
It really is.
It is.
And one thing before we shift gears away from Apex Legends, I really like the execute options, like for the finisher that you can do to fallen enemies, where it does a little specific cutscene. I thought that was a really cool touch as well, but you can get pretty fucked up mid-animation. I got killed yesterday trying to do one of those.
It's such a it's like you're sitting there being cocky by doing a takedown and someone just shoots you mid takedown. The ultimate blue balls.
Oh, anyway, not going to touch that, and maybe no one else is. Hence the blue balls. Next bit of news: the new Devil May Cry 5 demo now available on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, and this is via Steve Watts at GameSpot. In case you missed out on the last Devil May Cry 5 demo on Xbox One, which was an exclusive that came out in middle of December, if I remember right, a new one is now available for both Xbox One and the PlayStation 4. As noted on the game's official Twitter, this demo introduces a new Devil Breaker called the Punchline, as well as the ability to power up by calling Nico. Now, Ali, I wanted to ask you, because you and I have both played this demo at PAX last year. I know we haven't talked about it or played it in 4 months now, but what are your thoughts? Go back to the dark recesses of your mind and tell me about your time with Devil May Cry 5. What do you reckon? You keen? This is coming out very soon as well. Is it on your radar?
Not on my radar because it's not my style of gameplay. However, in saying that, for the moment that I actually played it, I did enjoy it. I see the appeal of this kind of game. It's kind of colorful chaos. And just straight up feels like horde mode, just relentless hordes of characters coming at you. Very violent, which is great. Very graphic. I love the universe. The universe and all the creatures and your specific character with his attitude and his sarcasm. I get it. I get this game. I get why this game is popular and why there is this following behind it. Just for me personally, I just don't really see myself investing a lot of time into a game like this specifically. But visually, it's a good-looking game.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and it's always been a graphically impressive franchise, even going back to the OG Devil May Cry titles. And you're getting more of that. You're getting larger-than-life sort of dude-bro-y protagonists. Sort of running around, I don't know, cyber gothic future. I don't know how you sort of describe the world you're living in, but yeah, the demo is on the short side. I downloaded it again on the Xbox this week and sort of gave it a quick playthrough just to sort of refresh my mind. And it's good fun. Rolling around as Nero. He's a bit more slower to play for those people that know Devil May Cry than, say, Dante, who's got his ebony and ivory pistols as well as his big claymore, where Nero is a little bit more slow and calculated because there is a lot of charging up required on some of your abilities. But, God, it looks good. The demo ends where you fight this big-ass Goliath. Do you remember fighting that big Goliath and it's sort of talking smack to you and you're having a little bit of a back and forth with them?
Yeah.
But I'm digging it. I like that you can sort of switch between his Devil Bringers. So you've got different sub-fight or different class styles attached to the Devil Bringers, which is sort of Nero's mechanical arm. And so with that, you've got different play styles and different ways to go about fighting certain enemies. And it is very graphically impressive, like chaining these 100-hit combos together, and it's given you progressively changing ranks on how good you're doing in real time in those combats.
Yeah.
Dream, are you a Devil May Cry boy, I should ask?
No, I'm not a Devil May Cry boy.
I don't know if that's what they call them, the kids these days, but we're going with it.
No, I did own Devil May Cry 2 on the PS2, but I never really got into it even when I had it. Yeah, I don't know. It looks cool. It's just one of those things, you know, one of those titles I never really picked up for no particular reason.
I'm going to need someone to explain to me. There was a graphic that went around for this demo release, and I swear that Kylo Ren is in the picture.
So that's the third protagonist you play with. So you've obviously
Kylo
got...
Ren.
Yeah. Adam Driver has lent his likeness to Devil May Cry. Not true, sadly. But yeah, so you've got Nero, you've got Dante, and then you've got this third protagonist called V. And it's interesting because from the video I've seen, and I watched a little bit of sort of gameplay of him in action, he's very different to the other two. He's hands off, and he's got sort of two creatures that he can summon. A big griffin or a black panther, and on each one of those animals they've got different abilities, whether it be elemental, electrical, or darkness, for example, for the respective animals. So it's cool that he's got that utility where he can summon beasts to fight beside him as well. But I don't know, he definitely looks interesting. He's another one of these broody, angsty sort of characters that they like chucking in these types of games. But yeah, I'm keen. March 8th it comes out, so I'll try and find some time to play this amongst everything else, just to sort of see how it goes.
Put it in your diary.
Yeah, might take me first sick day at work, even though I've only been there a week, but we'll see.
That'll go down well.
Yes. No, I will be working that day. We'll be definitely working on March 8th.
Just in case something happens.
But yeah, it's cool. Jump on the Xbox Marketplace or the PlayStation Store and download that. It is free, so download that, play through it. It's about 30-ish minutes or so. It's a pretty short demo, but it gives you a good taster of what's to come in March. And it's cool to see Capcom doing this. Like, this is now two pretty big AAA titles that they've released demos for. In 2019 alone, obviously we had the Resident Evil 2 demo, and now we've got the Devil May Cry 5 demo. So kudos to you, Capcom, for doing more good things. Yeah.
This is like good on you for doing good things. Well done.
And the last bit of news I wanted to bring to the table today: Microsoft preparing to bring Xbox Live to iOS, Android, and the Nintendo Switch. This is by Tom Warren at The Verge. Microsoft is getting ready to release an important software development kit, or SDK, that will allow game developers to integrate Xbox Live into any titles that run across PC, Xbox, iOS, Android, and the Nintendo Switch. Spotted by Windows Central, a GDC session reveals that Microsoft will announce its cross-platform push for Xbox Live next month. Xbox Live cross-platform play will allow developers to integrate friends lists, multiplayer functionality, and achievements into existing mobile games. So, I know there is one pretty big developer missing from that list, there is no Sony PlayStation there, obviously, because cross-platform console wars are still running riot through the gaming space. But what do you guys reckon about this move for Microsoft to get its feature set into everywhere?
I mean, I can already guess which game that they're going to test it out with. Based on those, that sounds very Minecrafty. Or maybe it's already doing it with Minecraft, I'm not sure. But Minecraft's available everywhere, man. I'm very interested to see how Microsoft is actually applying themselves nowadays and, you know, how they're putting themselves out there. And it's seeming to be very directed on strictly online content. From, you know, Game Pass, and then them discussing creating a console with no disc. Yeah, it seems like they think the future is on just strictly online.
What do you reckon, Dream? Do you think this is another good move for Microsoft? Do you think it's going to be positive? What's your thoughts on this?
Well, I don't think it could be negative. I think that based on what I've read and seen, it sounds like what this push will do is actually just make Microsoft available in games on other operating systems. Available to take over things like the social aspects of those games and the multiplayer aspects of those games, which, according to, again, this one Verge article, will help them then sell Game Pass and make it look a lot more enticing to people who don't already have it. It's them trying to break into a new market, or into a market that they don't, not a market, sorry, but it's them trying to get, I guess, a part of the demo that they don't already have. A group of gamers that aren't already on using some part of the Microsoft ecosystem. It's like this kind of stuff, you know, it's a slow roll. We'll see how it works for them over time. It sounds like it will be positive for them in some way. It's more the back end businessy side of things rather than the sort of front end fuzzy kind of part of the world where gamers actually get to see some kind of tangible benefit. At least it's what it feels like to me. Like things like social, your
friends list,
the friends list, yeah, the social media side of it. Like, I actually have never ever personally cottoned onto that in gaming. I know that's not, you know, the truth for all gamers. I know, Ali, you have a ton of people on your friends lists in gaming that you speak to all the time. Through Steam, you know, in particular. That's just never been me and that's not my truth, you know, my gaming truth. I'll message someone. If I'm planning on playing something like, I don't know, like Fortnite, for example, when I played that with friends, I actually just picked up my phone and called them and just did it completely outside of the system. So this is not targeted at people like me, I guess. It's good though. It sounds good. It sounds positive for them. It sounds like another thing that they're doing that's Sony's just, you know, 2 steps behind of.
Yeah, the biggest things in stark contrast, I guess, to your impressions on friends lists, having that all shared in that ecosystem is certainly positive. Like even this week playing Apex and playing Division 2, unless you've got those friends on Uplay or on Origin, you don't see that full friends list. So being able to jump on there and know that it's grabbing everybody from Xbox Live or Steam or from, you know, product XYZ will certainly streamline that process when you are looking for people to roll out with or say g'day to or whatever it might be. And the other part, and it's something that's sort of lost on me, but I know a lot of people that are all about that achievement life, whether it be gamer score or on PlayStation, sort of with your trophies, being able to have your gamer score shared across all these platforms where you're getting points attached to maybe playing some type of game on your mobile phone where you can still get those points carry across to your mainline Xbox account or your Microsoft account. That will definitely appeal to gamers out there too. But yeah, it's good to see. Like, Microsoft are definitely trying to do all they can to exist with as many other third-party vendors out there as possible. And they're definitely sort of saying all the right things. We'll see what happens when this XDK, as they're calling it, drops later. But they're their goal. What they've got currently is 400 million gaming devices in use, tied to sort of the Microsoft Xbox Live experience, and shifting into these other devices will give them access to potentially 2 billion devices. So,
wow.
It's a big jump. They're sort of increasing their reach 5 times over straight off the bat, hypothetically, from what this information has presented us with anyway. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. As you said, Dream, it's going to be a bit of a slow play, so we'll see how this rolls out over the coming months into something more tangible, but it's good to see. I'm liking seeing more unity amongst all these other vendors, which is great. Mm-hmm. Everyone should play together and exist together and give us cross-platform on everything. Yay, huzzah, happy days, kumbayas.
Kumbayas indeed.
Oh, yeah.
Cool.
Kumbaya. Yeah, so that is the news headlines for this week on episode 138 of the Hunger Games podcast. Is there anything yourselves wanted to bring to the table before we close this off for another week?
Just wanted to give a shout out to everyone that participated in telling us what they thought, what gaming characters they thought we were. It seemed like there was a general consensus that we hit it on the head for each other, but yeah, Nathan Drake Sam is probably the one where I was just like, it just makes a lot of sense. Even just seeing the character of Nathan Drake, and I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense. So
I also need to give a shout out to our social master Dane Peavy for finding a photo from Salim Dream's archives and sort of merging it with the blue shell. I don't know if anyone saw that on Instagram stories, but I was pissing myself laughing when I saw that.
No, it's good actually. Dane's been doing really well. So if you haven't already, definitely check out the socials. If you're on Twitter, check us out on Instagram, and then vice versa. A lot of action's going on.
Oh yeah, all the action. And if you want some other action, head on over to audio-technica.com.au for the best in audio equipment. We're talking microphones, we're talking headphones, we're talking turntables if you want to listen to your old records, or maybe you want to be a budding DJ. Who the fuck knows? But either way, they've got all the good stuff right there at audio-technica.com.au. We use it every week. We wear their streetwear every day. It is the best in the biz, so give them a look. And 8bit.net for the rest of the hashtag 8bit collective can be found on there. And while you're combing the interwebs, jump on all those podcast hosting platforms, namely iTunes or Apple Podcasts. If you can, give us a cheeky rate, review, and subscription on there, as well as all the other podcasts you're listening to in and out of the hashtag 8bit collective, because it helps keeps the emotional lights on in our hearts. All right. Miss Ellie Hart, Salim the Dream Abraham, is it goodbye for now?
Yeah, see you on the Apex field.
Oh, yeah. Until next week, 8-Bit Nation, for the world first episode 139 of the Hunger Games podcast. Much love.
Stay hungry.
You've been listening to The Hungry Gamers, one of many gaming and geek culture related podcasts from the 8-Bit Collective over on 8bit.net. Check out more episodes on your podcast service of choice. And while you're there, please be sure to rate and subscribe. Until next time, boys and girls, stay hungry.